Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Again, I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about screen time for the kids. I'm here with Dr. Strucker.
Thank you, Keisha. I really appreciate the conversation and speaking to the wonderful people of Atlanta.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Can we talk about unstructured playtime?
Yeah, absolutely. So, summer, and this is a convenient time to discuss this because students are going from a daily routine of being in school and they are given all this autonomy in the summer. And for teachers, it's wonderful from a point of relaxation and rejuvenation. For children, it's wonderful because it gives them a chance to explore things they've never explored before. However, we live in a different world than when I was growing up because this autonomy can be filled with something else, and that's screens. And while we had three or four channels to choose from, I'm probably a little older than you. Children have TV, they have gaming, they have social media, and that is an incredible draw for them. However, what we know is that children don't become more capable by just staying on screens. And so we really need to think as parents and as educators, okay, what are they doing intellectually? Are they reading? Are they thinking about things beyond just what they've learned in school? Are they socializing with their friends or family? Have they called a grandparent lately? Are they taking on challenges which are going to develop that resilience? Are they helping somebody through service where they're going to develop integrity and virtue? And most importantly, what you talked about is kids being outside, running around, having a good time. The body mind combination work well when they're both functioning at a high level. This is a critically important time for children to be outside advancing themselves.
I gotta say, the other thing that kind of comes to mind is the whole AI piece. Like,
Mhm.
how is that affecting our kids?
Yeah, AI, well, first, I'm not anti AI, but it does have a place. And the problem is, AI can do one of two things as a tool. AI can either hinder our capacity for growth or it can advance. And that is a clear distinction for parents. When a child is doing something online, even gaming or screen time, social media, you have to ask, what are they doing? Not simply, are they doing it? AI, if you're writing a paper, okay, well, first, don't just put in the prompt, write me a paper at a sixth grade level, have it spit it out because you're not growing as a writer. But if you write it first, put it into the system and say, hey, could you evaluate this? Where could I get better? Now you are advancing your own capacity. So it's not an either or, it's a how that we are using AI. That's a very important question for parents and teachers.
And when we think about that, is there any evidence to support how screen time affects the child's development? Like, do we know yet? Have we started thinking about how all the screen time, as opposed to, outdoor and playtime, which is what I did when I was a kid,
Yeah.
how is it affecting their development?
Yeah. Well, let me give you some bad news first. Um, Screen time, the advancement of technologies, the way they've been implemented, have caused five key negative points. One, for the first time in human history, in developed countries where we're seeing the most use of technology, IQ is going down for the first time. We are more antisocial than we've ever been as a society, especially in teens and young adults. We are more stressed, anxious, and depressed. We have lower levels of trust than we've ever had. And physically, one in five children is considered obese. Those are the five key components of intellect that we're trying to develop as humans that make us truly human. And all five are in decline. This is why it's a pivotal point, especially for schools and parents. We have to stop measuring ourselves based on two factors, which is just reading, writing, and mathematics. And we have to look differently at what we're doing with children. we need to begin to evaluate, are we making them better communicators? Are we making them more resilient? Are we making them more students of virtue? And are we focused just as much on their physical development as we are their intellectual development? I know for a long time schools were told, you're not here to raise my child. I think that is part of our responsibility moving forward.
John, thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing all this information. We've had the website up there for our viewers. It was a pleasure to meet you.
It was an absolute pleasure talking with you as well. Thank you.
All right, guys, we can do better. I know there's a kind of a spectrum, some people thinking, okay, let's take all the screens away, and other people thinking, no, we can't do that because they want to advance. They want to be, where they need to be when it's time for college and things like that. There is information that we can input before we're making those decisions. Please take the opportunity to learn more and stay tuned to more Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back.